So I was asked if I could say something about bindu. Okay, now there are a number of different aspects to the subtle nervous system that include the term bindu. There's only two that I've become aware of on my own journey, and I'd like to talk about things that I've experienced myself rather than just um, speaking about things that I've heard about or read about. So on my own journey I've encountered two aspects of the subtle nervous system that involve the term bindu. One is the bindu chakra, which is a point on the top back of the head. So it's not the crown on top of the head, and it's not the occipital nerve plexus, which is right on the back of the head. It's kind of between the two. If you've seen photos of monks in India where they have their head shaved, but they have a small tuft of hair that's left on top of their head, that's where the bindu chakra is, and they deliberately leave that tuft of hair there because of the location of the bindu chakra. Now the bindu chakra is a minor chakra. It doesn't have a great deal to do with the process of spiritual awakening. At some point it will light up. At some point it starts to activate. It'll light up, it might vibrate slightly. It can feel quite ecstatic as it's purifying and as it's activating. And it's also one of the locations for the production of amrita. Now amrita, something I've spoken about in previous videos, is a nectar that is produced in the body. Prana rises up into the Manipura chakra. Soma is created, which rises up into the brain. And then amrita is produced in the brain, and it can drip down inside the nasal cavity, dripping down the throat. It can taste bitter, it can taste sweet, but sweet not like honey and sweet not like sugar, a different kind of sweetness. This is amrita or nectar being produced. But amrita can also bubble up out of the top of the head. And when it bubbles up out of the top of the head, there's three places where it can appear. One is the crown, one is Agna chakra, and one is the bindu chakra. And when it first comes out, it feels like honey, like ecstatic honey, and it will drip down the top of the head like honey. Gradually over time that changes, it feels more like water trickling down, and eventually feels more like air pouring down. So it changes over time. So that's the bindu chakra, that's the role that it plays in the process of awakening. There's nothing really we need to do with it. We can simply leave it be and it will do its own thing. The other bindu that I've become aware of is a place above the crown chakra. So the word bindu means point, literally. If you wrote 3.2, that would be 3 bindu 2. So it means point or singularity. And so the crown chakra is quite a complex chakra. It involves thousands of petals and all sorts of beautiful experiences happen as the crown is opening. But above the crown is this point called the bindu, not the bindu chakra, but just bindu. And it is a singularity. Now there's a certain stage on the path of yoga after we've purified the first 6 chakras, when we can start working on the crown. We can start bringing our attention to the crown momentarily after we finish each meditation session. The experience of resting our attention in the crown at that stage on the path is usually very beautiful, and it's usually safe to do so. after we've purified most of the rest of the body. But bringing our attention even higher than the crown, just that little bit higher, can bring us into this bindu, and everything just becomes one. It's like everything collapses into one point and we experience pure unity. So bringing our attention into the crown is already beneficial. That's already a very purifying thing to do and is blissful. But bring our attention slightly higher to the bindu point will bring us into this singularity, and the experience there is unity. And that's useful on the spiritual path, experiencing unity, spending a moment of our day, every day, in unity, in that experience, will have the effect of helping us to see the unity of all things in daily life. When we're simply experiencing a multiplicity of forms, it often isn't easy to see the unity in all things, but if we're bringing ourselves into a state of unity in the bindu every day, then we gradually also start to see beyond the form itself, to see beyond multiplicity itself, and we start to see unity everywhere, all the time.